Now, the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Chargers, but that doesn't mean there aren't things that we can take from this game and learn about the Chiefs moving forward. Now, one thing I want to notice off the top is that notably absent, conspicuously absent from this video will be the running back position, and that's because I just don't know what there is to glean from the game that was against the Chargers. There were ups, there were downs, but there were mostly from the running back group. I think that Kareem Hunt continued to look better than Isaiah Pacheco. That is a good defense. That is a solid defense that might be worth taking into consideration, but we're just going to move past the running backs for this video. Hopefully next week will give us something more to talk about from the running backs. The number one thing to talk about from this game, lessons learned about the offense for the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes isn't back. He never left. There was all of the bits of magic in this game that you would hope from a Patrick Mahomes performance. And while he did fall short of a 300-yard passing game with 258 yards, going 24 of 39 and adding a touchdown, he lost who was probably going to be the number one wide receiver in this game, at least by targets, in Xavier Worthy. So to be able to make that adjustment 3 snaps into the game and still come out with some actual firepower and move things around, all of that is a good sign. But also, you see here, Patrick Mahomes didn't just lead the Kansas City Chiefs in throwing the football, didn't just lead the Kansas City Chiefs in magical passes from the quarterback position, also led the team in rushing. 6 runs for 57 yards, a 9.5-yard average, and 1 touchdown. As noted earlier, no real notes about the running backs in this video, and part of that is because the run was kind of abandoned by this offense as they trailed the entire game almost. So, Patrick Mahomes willing at this point in the season to put the team on his back and run the football. We have seen Patrick Mahomes maybe a little bit more than earlier in his career, hesitant to really run during the regular season. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with those ankle injuries that started mounting up on him. And this is proof positive that when push comes to shove and Patrick Mahomes feels that he is in a playoff-type situation, which, let's face it, this was a divisional game. It was week 1, but this is about as pressure-packed as it can get in a week 1 situation. Patrick Mahomes went ahead, tucked the ball, and got those first downs. So how much of that we will see this season is yet to be seen, but I hope that it doesn't have to be this much. Now, Xavier Worthy is being referred to as having a dislocated shoulder. Guys, normally I think that's 3 to 6 weeks. The shoulder is a ball and socket joint. It's not something that just comes out and goes back in very easily. So it's also, look, I'm not a doctor, but to the best of my knowledge, fairly rare that a shoulder gets dislocated and there is not other soft tissue damage. So, if there's tissue damage to the rotator cuff, that usually means surgery. To everything I know, right? Again, not a doctor, but to everything I know, that normally means surgery. That normally means extended time missed. Normally at least 2 months if you're getting surgery. So anyway, that was Patrick Mahomes' day. Now, the second thing that we learned in this game, Josh Simmons is the man at left tackle. The grades from PFF, for whatever that's worth, were not particularly compelling. A 51.0 overall grade, a 61.4 pass blocking grade, and a 59.1 run blocking grade. I don't care. Sometimes football is about the eye test, and Josh Simmons in that game passed the eye test. He was penalized twice, and I think that will subside as he plays more football. One of those, I think, was a nervous false start. played 61 snaps and let up 0 sacks. That is something that you would like to continue to see from your left tackle, and it was not an easy day. The Chargers are not an easy out. Now, most of Khalil Mack's reps, at least to my observations, seemed to be against Jawaan Taylor. And that might be because Harbaugh and company had identified Jawaan Taylor as the weak link on this offensive line. And we will see in a moment why Jawaan Taylor is unlikely to be benched. But here we had Josh Simmons in his first NFL action, coming back from missing a half a season of football, playing on the road in Brazil in a division game against a very, very, very good defense, or at least a defense that was very good last year, having just 2 penalties, giving up 0 sacks, and having a pass blocking grade over 60. That is something that you will take all day, every day after last season. The number 3 thing here, and there's 7 things on this list, Jawaan Taylor is not the man at right tackle. In an article titled 5 Winners and 5 Losers from Chiefs Loss to the Chargers in Brazil, subtitled Which Kansas City Players Caught Our Attention in Week 1's Loss to Los Angeles by Matt Stagner from Arrowhead Pride, listed among those 5 losers was Jawaan Taylor, stating, his blocking wasn't perfect, but it would have been good enough. The 5 penalties, however, are another matter. That's not going to cut it. Now, I thought there were 4 penalties, so too did PFF, pardon me. But here are the grades for Jawaan Taylor in this game. A 49.5 overall grade, pass blocking grade a 43, or run blocking grade a 43.5. Here is why Jawaan Taylor is unlikely to be benched, in my opinion. A pass blocking grade of 71.0. You don't run the football anyway. No one cares about running the football in Kansas City. Everyone cares about keeping Patrick Mahomes clean. Now, in the post-game live stream, I said I think that he is unlikely to be benched for whistle-to-whistle play, meaning the penalties. If he's going to be benched, it will be snap-to-whistle activities. If he starts giving up sacks, and he gave up 0 in this game, that is when things will go south for Jawaan Taylor. The penalties, 4 penalties. 4 penalties in 61 snaps. He was penalized once every 15 snaps. Imagine getting yelled at once every other week at work. Screwing up so bad that you get penalized at work once every other week. That is the repetition by which Jawaan Taylor got this done. You get 15 days in 2 weeks, right? There are 61 snaps in this game, and he found a way to draw a penalty flag every 15.25 snaps. Absolutely stupendous. But that 71.0 pass blocking grade, that is why he will stay on the field, keeping Patrick Mahomes upright. And Patrick Mahomes did look pretty comfortable in that pocket. Patrick Mahomes looked very comfortable on the field, in my opinion, in Brazil. Didn't help him get off to a fast start, but he was very comfortable. Now, the second biggest question mark along this line this offseason was obviously Kingsley Suamataia at that left guard spot. And guys, I'm going to be frank with you, didn't really notice anything, right? He did not look like a problem, and if you're looking at the grades, that's exactly what we get. A 59.9 overall grade, a 56.9 pass blocking grade, and a 59.5 run blocking grade. If you would have told me before the season this is what we would get, I would have taken it. 0 penalties, 0 sacks allowed. That is about as good as you could hope for from Kingsley Suamataia in his first extended action at offensive guard in the NFL. Live fire in Brazil. Very good defense in Brazil. And Kingsley Suamataia was up to the challenge. He had, I thought, one real bad rep. I think it wasn't even a straight up loss. I think what it was, if I'm remembering correctly, is a player looping around sort of like in the middle of a drop back. So that's going to be hard, but it's something he'll learn and pick up on as he goes. Remember, he has not played offensive guard before. So getting him out there in this capacity and being as good as he was is a promising sign moving forward. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs lost the game. No, the offensive line was absolutely not to blame, and that is why the Kansas City Chiefs, I think, will have a puncher's chance against the Eagles, regardless of who's out there at wide receiver, right? So here's the thing to remember as we get into number 5 here. If he's healthy, Hollywood Brown can be a number 1. Xavier Worthy, I would imagine, is out. Rashee Rice is out. Jalen Royals, we have no idea if he'll be back or not. And there's still an entire week of practice for Hollywood Brown to be injured. So we don't know what the wide receiver core is going to look like come kickoff for the Eagles game. But if he's healthy, Hollywood Brown can be a number 1 wide receiver. He went 10 for 99 with a 9.9 yard average, no touchdowns. And if Xavier Worthy had been on the receiving end of that 4th and 4 where Mahomes scrambled and just launched it downfield and Hollywood was back there? If that was Xavier down there, I think he scores. Hollywood does not look to have the acceleration that once he did, but he does look like he is still an above adequate receiver in the NFL. He looked as if he were going to assume the mantle of Sky Moore early in that game, but he came back around. I don't know if it was jitters. I don't know if it was not really playing football for so long. Whatever it was, he came back around and earned that spot later in the game and looked good doing it, right? So he had maybe not the acceleration, but he had a little bit of twitch. He had a little bit of wiggle, and that helped him get a couple of first downs. That helped him get past a couple of guys. So that is something to watch moving forward. As long as he can stay healthy, he can be a legitimate weapon for Patrick Mahomes in this offense. And it looked like Patrick Mahomes trusted him, right? It looked as if Patrick Mahomes shrugged off the first quarter of this game and said, I know who Hollywood Brown is. I know who Hollywood Brown can be. And we're just going to trust that he comes around and executes on that. And I guess I got 6 notes here. I thought I had 7. The number 6 thing here is Travis Kelce does look lighter this season, unless you're Xavier Worthy. But that 37-yard touchdown scamper may have been one of only 2 catches on the night, one spectacular play on what was otherwise a less than pedestrian night, but he did look good running down the sideline like that. And I hope that what happens here is not that Xavier Worthy misses time. I hope that what happens here is not that Jalen Royals misses more time. I hope that what happens here is Rashee Rice comes back full-fledged and ready to go, because I think that they could end up limiting Travis Kelce's exposure during the regular season, should that be the case. If you can limit Travis Kelce's exposure during the regular season, it means that you have a full motor Kelce in the playoffs. This game, that play, that 37-yard touchdown, looked like a full motor Kelce. And we have not really had a whole lot of that the past couple of seasons. Whether it's that he was worn down, whether it is that he was getting older, whatever the case may be, it looked as if he were slowing down a bit. That play lets you know that guy is still in there. So that is what I have for the what did we learn offensive notes from the Chargers game. If you like or appreciate this sort of thing, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on the channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.